all the way down the coast and had done over $290,000 worth of fraud using those machines. I personally called the head of security for Walmart out in Arkansas. I said, man, you're killing us. He goes, what happens? I said, they go in, the guy applies for credit, he gets the credit card, he goes to the checkout counter, they give him $1,500 worth of gift cards, he goes next door to Sam's and buys big dollar items, TVs, entertainment centers, everything, and goes out and sells them on the street. They said, oh my gosh, we didn't realize that was happening, all right? Apparently, in between Florida and Arkansas, there's a little bit of a dialect exchange. I did not realize that. Because what he thought I was upset about was that the guy was having to go to 2 different stores to do this. Because they put the same machine into Sam's now. You can buy them right there. It's one-stop shopping. You got to be on top of this game, all right? So that's the stuff we're dealing with. Is there culpability in all of these? Absolutely. All right, they're unintentionally driving it. Or maybe intentionally, I'm not sure. All right, let's talk about how I'm going to steal your stuff. 4 generations of identity theft. Generation 0 is old school. 1 is the evolution. 2 is applying technology. And technology and more is our last generation. Let's start talking about how I'm going to take your stuff. What I will tell you is out of the 4 generations, the most likely mechanism for me to get your stuff is through the first or through generation 0. It's the most likely because you'll give it to me. That's everything in generation 0 is preventable. You just have to do it. You have to be the one to do it. So let's start. Dumpster diving. All right, mail theft, burglary, check washing, shoulder surfing, and trap devices. Those are our first group that we talk about. All right, dumpster diving. You always think I'm talking about a business. I am. I'm talking about a business. I'm talking about you give your information away every day. How many of you give somebody your Social Security number and ask them how they're going to protect it? None of us. We give it to them. We go to the doctor's office. We've been there for the last 7 years. We haven't been in for a while. They need us to fill out a new sheet. Here it is. We fill out that new sheet, Social Security number. Yep, they must need it again. I don't know why. All right? There's only one reason why they need it again. They either lost it, which is not good, or they need to file of our insurance, which we've been going there for 7 years. So when you get there, ask them, do they really need it? Ask them, say, can you get it off of one of the other forms? And if you really want to get that warm, fuzzy feeling about how well they protect your information, and I'm not just picking on the doctors, I'm picking on everybody. Next time you stand at the doctor's office window, at that little frosty window, look to the right or look to the left. Because what you'll see is rows of bookshelves with files sticking out of it where your information is. I break into the doctor's office. I'm not going for the medical cabinet. I'm going for the files. That's where the money is. That's where the information I want is contained at. Ask them how they're going to protect it. Don't just give it away. But you know what? You don't have to go to the doctor's office to give it away. You do it at home. How many of you have a shredder at your house? All right, pretty good numbers. Let's see how good you are. How many of you shred like you think I want you to? About 6 people? That's crazy, all right? How many of you do this? Can I borrow your brochure for just a second? How many of you do this? And then put it in different garbage cans in the house. And on Friday, put all the garbage in one bag and set it at the curb. How many of you do that? Absolutely, we all do it, all right? You can put that back together. I'm on a very tight budget at the sheriff's office. We don't have enough to reprint those. So, but that's what we do, all right? I want you to shred everything. Yeah, I'll give this. Here, you can put this together. What, has he got a tape dispenser or something? That's what we do. I want you to shred every piece of paper that comes in your front door before it goes back out your door. But we don't. We shred what we think is important. Remember, what we think is important is not what's reality. We think the card is important. The number's what's important. Shred everything. Most of us will take something out of an envelope, but something comes to us from our bank. We take it out of the envelope, we shred it, we throw the envelope in the garbage. Today's criminals are going through your garbage. They're actually stealing it out the front of your house. They know you're going to give them your whole life story right out of it. They go through your garbage. They find that you bank at such and such bank. They now go on the property appraiser's website and they look up all your information. They know your address because they just stole your garbage. Then they go on to the clerk of the court site. They look there. Then they Google search you. And then they go to your Facebook account where they can get even more information. And before long, they've created a profile of you. And they do what we call social engineering. They actually call the bank that you bank at and solicit information from them pretending to be you. Don't give them any advantage. Don't give them a single piece of information. If you are someone that gives magazines away, rip that corner of the magazine off. Don't just color it out with a marker, as you'll see here in just a second. Rip that corner off. Go through and look for the solicitor card. If it's paper, before it leaves your house, you shred it. Note paper. Everything else. Imagine all the stuff that you write down and checks and everything else. Don't throw anything away. Shred every bit of it. And then make sure you're using a crosscut shredder. Mail. Let's talk about mail theft. How many of you have a unlocked mailbox out front of your house? Who has that? All right. How many of you have mail sitting in your mailbox right now when you get home? Almost all of us. We leave in the morning, we get home in the afternoon, first thing we do is we get our mail. The criminals are going to go through your mail. You'll know it. They'll drive through the neighborhood, they'll get the mail, they'll throw the stuff they don't want out the window, and they keep everything else. We get two things in the mail. We get junk and we get important stuff. The junk, there's a number in your brochure, not yours, but there's a number in your brochure that will actually stop you getting junk mail. If you buy something on credit, you'll start getting it again. You have to call them again and shut it down, but it will take care of it. You'll stop getting junk mail. We get important stuff. We get all of our credit card information, our car payments, house payments, tax information, insurance information. All of that sits in our mailbox all day long. How many of you have the boxes of checks, the blank checks that come from your bank delivered to that mailbox sitting right out there right now? All right? Most of us do. We have it sit there all day long. What do we mail out, though? What we mail out is always important, isn't it? Everything we mail out is going to be important to us. And because it is important, when we put it in the mailbox, what do? We put the red flag up. Here's my stuff. Come steal it. You just told them it's there. All right? We put it right out there. Everything you mail out is going to have your account information in it. Even the credit card companies stopped putting our account information on our invoices. Most of us write it on the bottom of our check in the memo section so that it makes sure it gets to the right point when it goes in on our account. Don't put that information out there. Even if you break it down to you are sending your nephew a birthday card, what do you put in it? Cash, check, or gift card. For an identity thief, that's all money, every bit of it, all right? So don't put that out there. Your checks that you send out, that you send outside, just as problematic, and we'll talk about them in a minute here in just a second. In fact, I'll jump to it and we'll do it now. How many of you have ever done any check washing? Really? I'm surprised by that. All right? I'm trying to get some arrests. This is a tough group, though. All right, check washing. I'm going to take your check that you wrote payable to Acme Credit Card Company. I'm going to put it in a Tupperware container. I'm going to pour a chemical on top of it. The chemical is going to float the ink right out of your check. It'll look like it's never been written on. I'm going to take a pair of tweezers. I'm going to get the check. I'm going to shake it dry for about 30 seconds, and I'm going to write that check payable to whomever I want and for however much money I want, because I want you to use a Uni gel ball pen. When you look in your brochure, you'll see there's a Uni, UNI-gel ball pen. It doesn't just write on the check. It paints on the check. It's a transferable ink that makes it more difficult. Now, there's some good news about check washing. The chemicals to do this with are very difficult to get your hands on. To get those chemicals, you have to go to Walmart. And then you got to fight the crowd there, and you know what that's like, all right? Especially the Titusville Walmart. So you got to go there. Then you got to say, am I going to go buy acetone out the paint department or fingernail polish remover where they sell fingernail polish? Either one of the two chemicals will float the ink out of your check. If you write it with a Uni gel ball pen, it'll still do it, but they have to use a harsher chemical, something like carbon tetrachloride, which is a carpet cleaning chemical. That's a little bit more difficult to get by, but that's the best defense we have for it. I'll give you two examples. About 11 years ago, there was a lady that had stayed at the hotel down in Sharps. That's our jail, by the way. She had stayed there for about 7 months. When she got out, they gave her a check for $7.27 in her inmate account. She washed the sheriff's check, wrote it payable to herself for $7,000, and cashed it. Not the smartest criminal in the world, but certainly passionate about what she does, all right? Every agent in the county was pulled off of every case to go find her so they could get her back in jail. But that's $7,000. There's a guy by the name of Freddie Campbell in Miami, Florida, rented an apartment he never intended to move into. 6 months lease. At the end of 6 months, they gave him a security deposit back in the form of a check. He washed their check. He wrote void on the top of it, sent it to Deluxe Check Writers, and asked them to issue him a business ledger for that account. They gave him 300 checks. He hit the company for $1.2 million before they ever figured out what happened. Same concept, just bigger thinking, outside the box thinking. So make sure you're using a Uni gel ball pen. My ideal thing is to get a locked mailbox. You can get a mailbox that's got a lock on it. Let them put your mail in it. When you need to mail something, mail it from the post office, mail it from work if that's permissible. I don't know what the policies are here. But don't leave your stuff sitting at the curb unattended all day long. Make sure you're taking care of it. Burglary. How many of you protect your home against identity thieves? Heck no. We protect them from stealing our TV, right? That's what we protect. Our TV, our jewelry, our cash, our guns, all of those things. I can remember 33 years ago when I got in this business, we used to tell people, take an etching tool and put your Social Security number on the back of your TV. That way, if they steal it, we know who it belongs to. Are you kidding me? I tell you to set your TV at the curb every morning when you leave. Hopefully, they don't get in your house and get the good stuff, because we don't protect ourselves against identity thieves. In fact, The mail that you got lucky and rescued out of the mailbox with all your bills and stuff in it, where is it? All right? It's on the kitchen counter, right? Some of us are very organized. We have a letter caddy on the kitchen counter. We put it there. It's in the unlocked desk drawer beside the computer. We never put it in a filing cabinet. We never put it in a safe. We just leave it out where it's there. How about the box of checks? Where are they at? Where do we put those? They're in the unlocked desk drawer by the computer. All right? Guys, we're really sneaky with our checks. Where do we put them? In the sock and underwear drawer. That's where they're at. We cover them up. You'd be better off to put them in the dirty underwear drawer. Hopefully they won't go in there. But that's what we do. That's how we protect ourselves, all right? Protect yourself against all of that. Make sure that you're putting everything away. If I walk into your house right now and I grab your mouse at your computer and I jiggle it, how many of your computers pop on with no password protection? As soon as I get in, I get your mail, I get your tax returns, I get your resumes, I get everything else all from right there. Those checks that you left in the box that were sitting in the desk drawer, I'm going to take one out the back. I'm going to take it home. I've got this program. I had to pay a lot of money for it. It was $27. It's called VersaCheck. You can buy it at Walmart, Staples, doesn't matter. I'm going to take the micro coating off the bottom of your check. I'm going to type it into my computer, and I'm going to print out your checks all day long using your micro coating, and I'm going to have Wayne's Landscaping Service up on the top, and they're going to cash. They're going to go through. I'm going to bleed your bank account dry because I took one check from you, or I took one out your mailbox, either way. All right? Shoulder surfing. Just be mindful. Somebody looking over your shoulder. You're in the cafe. You're wherever. You're typing information. Be very mindful of that. Don't let them get in. And then trap devices. Basically, it goes in an ATM. It grabs your credit card and won't give your credit card back. All right. Corrupt employees and moles. Absolutely one of the worst problems we deal with. Somebody in a doctor's office. Somebody that works for a credit bureau. Somebody that works in HR. Somebody that works in this location that has access to your information is going to sell me your information. The first person I go to and say, hey, I'll give you $250 for every Social Security number you bring me, they might be a little shy or their integrity's in check and won't do it. The second person might not do it. The third person is going to do it. I'm going to target them. A guy by the name of Matthew Cooper targeted American Express in Fort Lauderdale. When he targeted them, he would pay each employee that worked for him $500 for every American Express count they brought him out of there. He had they thought he had 7 employees. In fact, when they called us to work it, we went in, they had a conference table. They had their whole security team. They had 7 photographs on there, and they said, these 7 employees are working with this individual. So I'm looking at the photographs. I said, you mean these 6 employees? They said, you can't even count. You're from Green Cove Springs. You can't count. There's 7. I said, there's 7 photographs, but there's 6 people. They said, what are you talking about? The girl in photograph number 3 had been fired. She changed her identity, changed her hairstyle, got a new Social Security number, and they hired her back working in the same exact spot on the different shift across the way. That's how much business she was doing, all right? They hit American Express for almost $2 million by the moles inside. If they have your information, if their integrity is not in check, they're going to sell it. Every place you think about, let's use a car dealership. You go to a car dealership to buy a car, what's the first thing they do? Let's get you pre-approved. What do we need? We need a Social Security number. Then you want to drive the car, so you give them your driver's license, and chances are you'll leave there not buying the car and leave 2 critical pieces of information behind, never asking them, can I have it back? How are you going to protect it? Can you give me something that certifies you're going to protect my information? All because we walk out the door and don't worry about it. All right? Credit card skimmers. Let's go out to eat. As you can tell, I like to do that. All right. What I want on a credit card is not the numbers on the front. The numbers on the front are nice to have, but what I want is what's in the back, in the mag stripe. Back in this area is 3 tracks of information. Track 1 is going to have your name, Social Security number, your address in it. Track 2 is going to have your credit card information in it. Track 3 is going to have notes in it if it has anything. I want that. I want to clone your card. To do it takes this long. Done. I take this device. The most likely place we'll see this is in a restaurant, but I can put this same technology in a gas pump, other places. I can take this device. I'm going to swipe your credit card. I'm going to come back to you. I'm going to give you your credit card back because we're a convenience-driven society. We want to sit at our table. We want to have our dessert and our coffee and give our credit card to somebody and let them walk away. So think about this for a minute. The restaurant's paying them to work there. The criminal's paying them $50 for every credit card they bring him, and you're tipping them for stealing your stuff when they come back. That's how it works. So I swipe this card, boom, give him his card back. He tips me. Now I'm going to go out in the parking lot and sell that card to somebody for $50. This device holds 100 credit card numbers. This device has to be plugged up to my computer, and then once it's uploaded, this card says Lindsay on the front of it. I can take Lindsay's information, edit it, I can make it say Wayne, and then I'm going to retrack it to a credit card that's blank, and I'm going to put her credit card number on the back of a new credit card number. I can take a MasterCard, put it on the back of Visa, American Express on the back of Discover. I can take all of them, put them on the back of a hotel key. I can take all of them, put them on Disney theme park tickets. Anything that's got a mag stripe on it, I can put your credit card information on the back of. Older generation, these are hard to come by. You got to go to Radio Shack to get these. And there's not that many Radio Shacks anymore, so you got to really look around. Or you can go on Craigslist and order them all day long. You just keep typing in different cities looking for wireless credit card reader. You can buy everything you need to make this at Radio Shack, and the instructions are on Google if you want to find them, all right? This one has to plug up. Now, when this device, when the credit card goes through it and it's done correctly, it's going to make a little clicking noise. I'm going to pass this device around. Swipe your credit card through it so you can see what it feels like. Not a very trusting group you guys have out here. It's the last time we're coming out here, Lindsay. All right, this is the newer generation. You can notice the difference. I can palm this in my hand. This one's Bluetooth. So essentially, same scenario. I've waited on him. I've given him his credit card back. He's tipped me. Now I've walked away. I come over here, and one of this group is sitting at the table working on their computer. I say, can I get you guys anything else? No, we're fine. We're going to be here for a while. We're working on a project. While I'm talking to them, his credit card is uploading through Bluetooth onto their computer, and they're distributing it to California. Before he ever leaves the restaurant, somebody's in a mall using his credit card. It happens that fast. All right? All because we gave somebody our credit card. How do we stop this? How do we keep this from happening? Cash is the universal answer. The problem is if you lose your wallet or your purse, nobody's giving you your money back. If you get robbed, nobody's giving your money back. The answer is when it comes time to pay for your meal, ask them, can you go to the cash register? Say, if you don't mind, I don't let my credit card out of my hand anymore. You mind if I go with you to the cash register? They'll accommodate. Remember, they are a service that's trying to help you. They will accommodate. If they don't, it should raise a red flag and make you a little bit concerned. I do want to say, I'm not picking on that industry because if you've ever been a waiter or a waitress, it is the hardest work in the world. That is a great industry, a great group of people. It's just a small percentage of them that make us have to worry about this. The majority of them are good people that would never do anything to harm you. I'll pass this one around too. This one comes from a company called Exeba.com. They will sell you everything you need to do credit card fraud, but they won't do one thing. What do you think that is? They don't accept credit cards. When Lindsay went to buy this, she had to send them a certified bank check before they would actually take it. So I'll pass this one around too. You can swipe your credit card through that too. That'd be cool. All right. I'll jump through. Miss Lindsay, how am I doing on time? 15 minutes? Oh, that's awesome. I got an hour and 5 minutes. Here we go. All right. We talked about that. Here's a couple more different versions of the skimmers. The one you see in the picture up here is like the one I'm passing around. It almost always will have an arrow written on it to tell them which way to swipe it. This one is a better model because this one I don't know if I swiped it right. This one, I can see it. It prints out everything. This is an inline skimmer. The difference is that one plugs into the back of the point of sale terminal. That way, every waiter or waitress that works in the restaurant that swipes through a legitimate transaction, I'm actually capturing the credit card number from them too. So not just one waiter or waitress in the restaurant, I'm hitting it from all of them that are there. And then you see TokenWorks has a model, and then this is the Exeba model. All right. Now, I like this picture because I'm an optimist. All right? It's going to happen. I don't know when, but it's going to happen. Probably about the same time I pay that TV off. All right? But the same technology goes into this gas pump. It can either go on the outside. Oh, we took that out. It can either go on the outside in what we call a ghost or an overlay, or I can open up the doors and put the inline skimmer in, and you're not going to know it's there. A lot of the gas stations now have started putting a seal over the door of the pump. That's designed to let you know that pump's secure. But here's the way I look at it. If I'm savvy enough to come up with one of those, I can probably come up with that seal too, or something that you're not going to know the difference of. The only thing I can tell you to protect you when you're getting gas, and we find them all the time, the only thing I can tell you is there's usually 4 rows of pumps. Row 1, row 2, row 3, row 4. If you can see the customer service rep from your pump, you're probably okay. Not always, but they don't want to be able to let the customer service rep see them when they open the door up. So if that's where the store is, they'll put it in that pump or they'll put it in that pump the furthest away from the customer service rep's vision. So if you get your gas on the inside, it's going to give you a little bit of another layer of that bulletproof vest. RFID technology. Who has a credit card that has a microchip in it? Anybody in here have one? You do? Okay. RFID is the technology that feeds off of that. When they created it, they thought it was the greatest thing since sliced bread. So everybody jumped on board with it. including the United States passports. So they started putting all of our passport information in the RFID chip. Took the criminal element about 6 months to defeat that. Now, if you have a credit card with that, I can stand there and talk to you holding a briefcase, or I can have it in a pouch, anything. It's an extractor. It's going to extract that information out of your chip, and now I walk away with all your credit card information or your passport. They sell an Armadillo wallet. There's actually a couple different versions. One of them's the Armadillo. You can buy them on Amazon.com. If you have an RFID-loaded card, put it in an Armadillo wallet. Some people will wrap it in tinfoil. What I will tell you is that'll work for a small-end extractor, but not all of them. There was a guy in California built one into the door casing at the airport. Everybody that walked through it lost their credit cards, their passports, and I'm pretty sure became sterile as they went through the size of that thing because it was built in the whole door. So if it's that large, it's not going to matter what you have it in. It's still going to pull that information out. All right. Second generation. Wow, we've only got through 2 generations because we had 0 and 1. Now we're into the 3rd generation. ATM overlays, ghost overlays, and interception devices. ATMs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take and I'm going to build the face of the ATM. I'm going to come in on a Saturday afternoon or Saturday evening. I'm going to wear a big floppy hat and sunglasses so they don't get me on camera. I'm going to take photographs. I'm going to measure. I'm going to take a plaster cast of all this, and then I'm going to go back to my shop, and I'm going to make a device that fits over it. I'm going to make a device that can actually look like it's real. You're going to put your card in it. It's not going to work, but I'm still going to get your credit card information because you're just going to think the ATM's broken down. 2 different types. One that goes to the device that takes the card in. Another one that goes to the device that just stick the card in and pull it back out. This is the Cocoa Beach Bank of America. We actually got this device. The maintenance man for this bank, he and his wife were going out on a date, knew they were going to have to pay for parking where they were going, so they go to the ATM. He pulls up, he looks at this, and he goes, man, that's weird. If this was out of service, they'd have called me and told me to come fix it. So he starts to look at it a little bit, and then he looks over here at this handy-dandy tape job they did right here, and he goes, we wouldn't do that. That's not how professionals do it. So he becomes suspicious. So he goes to the walk-up machine. This one looks okay. Nothing wrong with it. So he goes over, and he's looking at it, and he's looking at it, and he goes, man, this is all good. Puts his card in, but it doesn't work. So now he becomes more suspicious. Would you put your credit card in that? Anything look out of order to you? Is there anything wrong with that? There's only one thing that would signal you to it. What is it? The O in the audio jack. It's an overlay. Remember, they had to make it go over the other one. So the O in the audio jack. He now sees that, can see that there's something on it, calls the police, and this is what they got. Now I want you to look at the detail. Look at the clarity of that picture, everything else. And then look at the detail. They hold it on with an epoxy that keeps it in place. There it is. Now, this is one of the neatest ones I've ever seen. This is the guts of a cellular telephone. It's a skimmer that's connected to a cellular telephone. Here's the SIMS card. This is forward dialed to another phone. Both of them were bought with credit card fraud. The other phone is connected to their computer. So the minute your card goes in, it's already in the computer base. It is forward dialed it all the way through. You're not going to know that's there. There's only one thing that'll trigger you to be worried about this. If you go to an ATM and it's out of order, what they do is like cattle. We try and herd you to that location where we've put the device. So what we need you to do is if you go to a device and it's out of order or they've stuffed cardboard down in the slide piece, go to the other side of town because more than likely they've shut down 2 or 3 ATMs right in the same area trying to get you to go to the 4th ATM where they've actually put the device at. So when you see that, remember they're trying to herd you there.
Sheriff, so that one, now that dispenses money, right?
No. Most of them, his question was, will that actually dispense money? Most of them will not because when they build the overlay, the card has to go in the full amount to make it register to read the mag stripe. So most of them, the overlay is just enough, it won't, but you just think the ATM's out of order, and so you go on your way. That's the other thing. If you don't get money out of it, you should immediately be suspicious and call your bank and tell them, hey, something's wrong here. Okay, last generation I'll talk about is peer-to-peer data compromises, hacker software, botnets, and then we're going to jump into the ishing family, phishing, vishing, and smishing. All right, peer-to-peer intrusions. Basically, does anybody in here on your home computer have file sharing capabilities where you can go get free music or somebody can take your music, videos, anything like that. Anybody have that? All right, you do? Okay. If you don't have it, what do you have? Do you have LimeWire, BearShare? Do you know what you have? That's the exact answer. She said you'd have to ask my kid. Because the next thing I'm going to tell you is if you don't have that, but you have teenagers, you have that. Go home because they've downloaded it on your computer. If your kids are getting music and you're not paying for it, they've downloaded a file sharing capability. There's over 559 million computers at any given moment in time that have file sharing capabilities. They come into your place. They're going through your files. They put a virus in, or a lot of times the misconfigured software didn't seat right, so it's not even installed properly. They exceed their permissions that you set up. They get your tax returns. They get everything else that's in your computer. We're even seeing pedophiles that are going on, taking off people's baby pictures and selling them in chat rooms and everything. So if you have one of these programs, get rid of it. It's cheaper to pay the fee. This is a screenshot, a LimeWire screenshot from a guy in Texas that had 18,000 tax returns. He wasn't a CPA. He wasn't an attorney. He was a crook. He was going in through LimeWire and stealing people's tax returns off of their tops. So make sure you get rid of them. All right, phishing, vishing, and smishing. The Ings family. Here's the bottom line. If you get a phone call at your house that's asking for something, hang up. If you get an email or a pop-up that's asking for something, delete it. If you get a text message that's asking for something or directing you somewhere, delete it. Because every one of those are going to be fraud-based. When you look at what the Ishings do, they usually are trying to make you think you've lost access to something, your credit card. They'll give you a number to call. When you call it, it's them. If you think you've lost access to your credit card or that something's been happening, call your bank. Call a legitimate, trusted number. Go on your credit card. It'll be on the back. If it's an email you get, when you get that email, a lot of them, I mean, there's a couple different ones out there. The extortion scam, somebody's posted pictures of you. Your friend's been arrested. Has anybody got this one? Your friends over in Mexico, they either get arrested or they've been robbed and they need money. Here's the way I look at it. If your friend went on vacation without you, shame on them. All right? They can sit over there. That's the way it is. They're not that good a friend. This is somebody's email that's got hacked. They're telling you to send them money to help them out. Don't fall for it. The foreign money scam. I'm Sergeant Kevin so-and-so with the United States military. I'm based in Iraq and I've located a large amount of legal money. Is there another kind of money? You know, everything's legal until you make it illegal, all right? Don't fall for this. It's based on patriotism. It's based on sympathy. Make sure that your parents, everybody else knows not to fall for this. One of the big ones that's out there right now is the grandmother scam. They get a phone call from a girl that's crying that they say is their granddaughter. She's been arrested up in Canada. She tells you, don't call mom and dad. They told me not to hang out with this person. So the police officer now gets on the phone and says, hey, if you don't want me to put her in the cell with the hardened criminals, you're going to have to send $3,000 in bond money. I'll keep her out until the money gets here. So now the grandparents scrambling around to get it. No, all right? Don't do it. If you get a phone call from your grandkids or from your real kids, they're wanting money. So why answer? Don't even answer the phone. It's very simple. If my daughter calls me right now, nope, voicemail. That's what's going to happen. You can tell me. If it's something she's inviting me to, it's going to cost me money when I get there, I promise you. So don't do it, all right? Don't fall for these scams, and they're happening all too frequently with us. Okay, any questions? What haven't I answered? This is your chance. Usually it's now, yes. Yours was stolen on the internet? So they sold your information? I'm having a little bit of trouble hearing you, but.
Somebody got my information. I was scammed the first time down at that El Chico Mexican restaurant issue.
In Melbourne?
Right. And then after that, I was skimmed at probably Holy Land Experience in Orlando. And then somehow they came back and paid some company to get information saying I was a deadbeat debtor and got everything.
Right.
So my attorney said the only way to get out of that is to change my name because I can't get a new Social Security card.
Yeah, they won't give you a new Social Security card. The Social Security Administration will not give you a new number. They won't reassign it.
I can't change my name right now. Is there anything else I can do?
Yes, if you will call the Federal Trade Commission, The new federal law that actually was just enacted a couple years ago mandates that the credit bureaus have to release your credit. Once you demonstrate you were a victim of fraud, they have to release everything in your credit. So if you'll call the FTC, you can actually go to ftc.gov, and they'll have a link on there that'll walk you through that process.
What do you mean release my credit?